Yeah, I don't have much of anything crazy to say other than we watched some video on these guys. It's very apparent they play the game the right way. They play hard. There's a reason why they were able to win the tournament. They kind of made it look easy. So it was a very competitive game, especially early on. I thought both of our lefties did an outstanding job. I know we mixed in Breedlove in there. He did exactly what we asked him to do, but Banky was very similar to what he was last year in our regional to help kind of finish off the game for us. And then both teams can say this. I thought our guys took a lot of good swings where we didn't necessarily get a great result. So that's an approach we'd like to keep, and I'm sure Miami of Ohio is saying the same thing because they barreled up some balls. They didn't get anything on either. So great environment as well. First game was very competitive. It was loud, at least in the office, and then the crowd doubled in size and probably doubled in noise too.
Start on the left with Ryan, then Eric.
Tony, you talk a lot about everything in a weekend building off each other. How important, with that in mind, was Liam? I think it was 66 pitches the first 3 innings for him to kind of get in a groove and be able to get so far into the game.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, it is a tournament. I mean, it's really a fresh start to the whole deal. There's a lot of information from the games we've played prior, but none of them really matter. And it is about tonight, or at least was, but you do have a tournament. Again, you're in the middle of. So for him to do that, not only I'm sure he feels good about and helped capitalize on the runs we were scoring in the middle of the game, but it put us in a good position with our bullpen.
Tony, Miami reference, Liam's ability to go off speed early in counts was kind of the separator. From your vantage point, what did you see on that, just his overall outing?
I think he just started to pitch better. I mean, first of all, everybody in the country, and I don't know how the scores and all that stuff, is going to come out more focused than they've ever been, more energized than they've ever been when this thing starts, no matter what team it is. So the pitchers are going to need to be ready to rock and roll right out of the chute. And, Katsky was equal to that task, and Liam was good. It's just they made him work. But the more the game that went on, I think getting settled in is kind of a cliche that's overused, but I think it really applied to tonight. I don't mean to speak for Liam. He's been bragging about he's working on his stance when he's fighting, so he might punch me here, but yeah, it's awful. He really settled in and started to pitch more. He was slowed down. It didn't look like he was pitching on adrenaline. It looked like he was just pitching on competitiveness, and the pitches were executed kind of how Miami of Ohio said.
Mike, then Ben on the right.
Yeah. Were your players at this point, or is it just coach?
Yeah.
Liam, what was the early innings approach you had, and kind of what Ryan asked? What allowed you to settle in 4, 5, and 6 there to kind of really get on cruise control?
Yeah, just had a little adrenaline going, leaving pitches over the middle plate. I felt like getting behind in counts, and then just towards the end of the game, started throwing strikes, started throwing my off-speed pitches in the zone early in the count, and just getting ahead of hitters and attacking the zone. Trust my defense, and strikeouts come with that, which is nice. But give my team a chance to win and play baseball.
Reese, what would you see on your home run swing, and what did you see from the offense, and I guess those early middle innings to get going tonight?
Yeah, I would just say that we were up there trying to compete. He filled the zone, and we were just trying to get quality at bats. Put our best swing on it. I mean, see the pitch the best that we could possibly see it, and then put the best possible swing we can possibly put on it. And I think those quality at bats added up into our favor, and it was shown. It was a fastball. I was just trying to stay to it as long as I could, and happened to spin it out.
Up front here with David, then Wes.
For Tony, for all you guys, how would you describe the experience of just navigating this season, obviously coming off of last year?
It was a headache going into the year and early parts of the fall. You've got commitments and requests and even celebrations that maybe kind of interfere with what this group is trying to do. But I think it was kind of unspoken, and at times, this is our meeting room during the season, at times it was said out loud in here, like, we need to come together as a group. It needs to be about this year, all that good stuff that can sometimes sound corny, but it really happened. I mean, they kind of forged together or merged together as a group that, a lot of new faces like Liam, but the team chemistry was built. And then there was a little bit of, call it edge or motivation or focus to make sure there's a clear line of separation. This is a new year, and we're not going to get caught, with a hangover from last year or however you want to phrase it. And we came out of the gate strong. Probably you could argue a little bit too strong, because I think some people outside of this room thought you can play this game and be invincible and roll up on people, especially in our league, which this time of year, everybody's capable of being the best team in any league. But it was an interesting storyline, but I thought this group did a phenomenal job with it. And then when the league started, we had a winning record in the league. We dished out more than we took, but we took a lot too. And it's one of the reasons, why SEC teams have fared fairly well in postseason is it prepares you going through all that stuff.
For Liam, how I guess aware are you of your pitch count as the game's going on? Because I imagine after the third, you were at 66 pitches, and if you see that, you're thinking probably not going 9 tonight. And is that frustrating, or how do you navigate sort of that during the game?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I know, sometimes I don't, but I still stick with my same approach no matter what my pitch count's at. If it's low or high, I'm trying to attack the zone and fill up hitters. So, I mean, I feel like every pitcher they're lying to if they say they don't necessarily know where their pitch count's around, but it doesn't change my approach or anything. Just kind of trying to throw strikes and give my team a chance to win.
Sam in the middle.
Coach Reese talked about having quality at bats tonight. A lot of walks, a lot of singles. Just what did you like about your guys' approach at the plate?
That they didn't try and do too much, and they definitely didn't take Cooper lightly. I think the guy was 3rd or 4th in the country in wins. And at the end of the day, sometimes you get it done in grand fashion, or sometimes you just get it done how we did tonight. Like you said, kind of scratching and clawing early on. Even Reese's home run. I mean, obviously it clears the fence, but it was, to the backside. And again, he said it. He was just trying to backspin the ball. But I think the way that they just kind of got wrapped up in the competitiveness of trying to compete against a great starter. I don't think the kid has anything to hang his head on. I know he's pitched better for them than he did tonight, but our guys did a great job. It's a very difficult environment here. And that guy's a great story for young kids. I don't think they'll take – these guys just want to look at one quick thing on TikTok. But I don't think Cooper was with Indiana last year. I don't think he traveled. But look at him now. I mean, he's one of the better pitchers in the country, period. And so it doesn't always work out right away for you, or it doesn't always work out the way you picture when you get recruited and stuff like that. This is a game that'll test you as much as any. Some say golf. I got no idea about that. And that guy, put together a heck of a season, and obviously they're still alive too. But our guys did a great job against a great pitcher, I guess is my point.
Scott, then Eric.
Coach, do you know Jordan Bissell, and what, if any, were you able to see out of Cincinnati?
Yeah, no, Central Michigan, we didn't play them, but one of our staff members worked for him last year, and certainly know he's won everywhere he's been, despite maybe not having the resources that others have a little more favorable circumstances, I guess is the easiest way to say it. But he's won everywhere he's been, and it's a part of it is, what he likes to do with the numbers and really implement a very specific style of baseball. Those guys, like I said, everyone was energized here for game 1 of the playoffs, but they've got a little extra stuff going on, energy-wise and team camaraderie-wise in the dugout. And then also they want to do a bunch of different things on offense. So they were able to beat, again, another outstanding team from a phenomenal league by using exactly the brand of baseball that he's tried to kind of stamp on any program he's been a part of.
Tony, Noah Marcus was in a different role last year. How has he grown, developed into where he is now, starting the game for tomorrow in regional play?
He's such a different kid outside of the lines, just in the dugout and in the hallways. And, it'd be interesting to ask these two guys about it away from here when they would be more candid, because Reese knows from day one. Liam only knows this year, and he's almost kind of been like two different guys. Always a good kid, always a good worker, obviously always talented, but he's just matured and kind of acts different. And I think this has really become his family and his home, and he just makes you comfortable when you're around him, and it makes it easier to cheer for him when he is between the lines. And then between the lines, he's literally gotten better in every single category. Velocity, you could break it down. And I don't think he's done with that incline. It doesn't mean he's going to each time the scoreboard will show that, but I think he's doing the same thing. And the two are tied together, for good reason, complimenting one of their players. But usually a guy that's getting better off the field, it's kind of married to on the field. There are exceptions, but for the most part.
Paige, then Ben.
Reese, how would you describe Liam Doyle as a pitcher and just the energy that he brings? Oftentimes in certain games, he brings a ton of that. So what is it like getting to play behind that?
Yeah, it's real easy. He's there. He's attacking the zone. And his energy wears off on all of us. And it's just exciting to play behind him.
Liam, how would you assess where your fastball's been the last 3 outings? Miami was just talking about how they feel like you found it as the game went on tonight. How did you find it tonight, and your take on where it's been the last 3 weeks?
Yeah, sometimes hitters are sitting fastball, but I've also worked behind in counts, I feel like, more than I have and the rest of the season the past 3 weeks. So I think when you're down 2-0 or 3-1 in a count, it's pretty easy to put a swing on a fastball at this level. Hitters are really good and talented, so fastball hasn't changed metrically or analytically or velocity-wise, but people are putting good swings on it. They see the film from the whole season, what's going on, but I'm not going to change. Still going to be competing. Still going to throw my fastball.
Finished on the second row here.
You're definitely not going to change.
Coach and Liam, Coach, you mentioned it when you opened. Binky kind of looked like his old self a little bit, and Liam, you're in the pitching room, so I guess you can contribute to this too. What did you mean by that? Him looking like his older self?
Oh, I just think, last year he finished off a regional game against, we mentioned Indiana. I think it was them. But, he had some soreness and, wasn't really able to gather momentum, even though, when we've given him the ball, for the most part, he's done well for us. But I think, Andrew's experience, pays off this time of year. And even if you're not that experienced, Manny played well tonight. You can call it act as if or fake it till you make it, but also look at all the competitive situations he's already been in. So I think you just go out there and be who you are. And that's what he did, similar to last year when you can call it the stakes being high or whatever it might be. But it's a competitive group on the pitching side. And, I think this weekend was great to get back to Liam leading us out of the charge. He's kind of, set a standard for his teammates, and I think they push one another to make sure they're carrying their weight. And Banky certainly did that tonight after the goofball here came out of the game.
Yeah, I feel like having 3 pitching coaches pretty much on staff is pretty nice. It's hard not to get better, but hopefully he's one of many guys that we have on our roster. There's a ton of talent in the pitching room that continue to improve throughout the season, and the more pitching, the better. So it was good to see him go out there tonight and succeed.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Never again.